They hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, that's why I can levitate.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast with our second live Friday Night Live. Sorry about that audio mess up, but we are now live with you guys. So today, in the comments, feel free to ask any questions, any topics you want us to cover. It's all about you guys today. So with that being said, until we get something, what's one thing that this week that you've heard a few times that we can address in terms of either mindset or motivation, especially with the challenge being in the start?
Great question. As the second, if you guys did kind of tune into what Devin and I were talking about last week as to, here at Strive, some of our members are in the Elite Challenge where in the span of the 11 weeks, they're, on a calorie deficit and they're in competition with themselves. But with that being said, they are at the tail end of their second week. And what I've come across more frequently at this time is now that initial hump is being overcome as far as the withdrawals or carb withdrawals or things like that. Now it's more so they're starting to adjust into that hungry feeling, kind of very lethargic, low on energy, hangry, as you guys would like to refer to it. So with that, now it's more so of how to get through the rest of the 11 weeks is what's the main concentration or main target of question. And I think that goes now into discipline and kind of like the foundation that they have kind of been setting already and starting to build that they are going to need to carry out, for the rest of the 9 weeks left. So if you want to open up on your initial thoughts as far as when it comes to discipline or how to build discipline and stuff like that.
I mean, what in your eyes? Because I know I've said it a few times. Before I give my definition, what is your definition of discipline? How could you define discipline?
So to me, discipline is an accumulation of. I'm trying to think of the best way that I would be able to explain it to myself. Yeah, so to me, discipline is the accumulation of or at least forming a habit in a way. But the habits that you want to build are obviously in a positive or at least productive towards the greater purpose of what your goal is. Because habits can be good and bad. It goes down to perspective. Smoking is a bad habit, and alcohol is probably a bad habit. Depends who you ask. But as far as eating clean, eating healthy, getting your workouts consistent, if you have high cholesterol or prone to diabetes and stuff like that, creating a positive habit of staying away from the foods you shouldn't be having are what makes up, I guess, discipline in a way. To me, ideally, that's what if I were to tie that into directly what we're talking about.
Okay, I definitely agree with you on that, and I think taking a step further, the way I would add to that is discipline is doing the things that you don't want to do when you don't feel like doing them, but you do them because you know that it's going to produce an end result, right? So just because you're tired or you had a long day at work or your boss, yelled at you or your kids, have a busy schedule and, it's exhausted you, you coming to the gym, regardless of any outside influence or outside motivation, on the days that you don't want to, that's building your discipline, right? So doing the tasks and doing the actions regardless of your emotional state, regardless of your mental state, you just doing it because you have to get said result.
Right. And I think too, what what tends to lack when it comes to building discipline is, and it's human nature, I guess, to to kind of put a lot of our emotions involved into it. But if we actually try to think about it, if we I guess move or put our actions through what we initially feel based off emotion, that's not the best way to approach it, because then obviously what your emotions are going to probably tell you is what you shouldn't do, because because like if something is hard, automatically you're going to not want to do it. Staying on track on your meal plan when you want to eat junk food is what your emotions are initially going to tell you. When you're tired, like you said, when you're tired, when you've had a long week, whatever it is, and you don't want to go to the gym, your emotions are going to tell you, fuck it, don't go. But that more so of like creating that mental discipline to just nip yourself right on the bud. At least I think that's one tactical advice, if I were to give it to like anybody, like just as a quick one, is if you find yourself thinking about how you feel about having to do an obligation or the responsibility you're supposed to, just do it immediately. Not what you're feeling, not thinking about how you feel about the task, but knowing the task you have to do, just fucking do it right now, immediately. So you don't even give your mind to sink into the emotion of, because then when you sink into that emotion, you're gonna talk yourself out of it. There's no better salesperson to yourself than yourself. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're gonna give yourself many reasons as to why it's okay not to do it on the spot, skip the workout, eat bad. Oh, I can make it up. I can have this. I've been good on my nutrition plan, and then I'm just gonna work twice as hard on my workout tomorrow or the next couple of days, which is not the case. You can't outwork a bad diet.
100%. Geraldine said you should put in as much work as you can, or as you put into your job or for other people into yourself. And I agree with that. Like, it's one of those things where we've talked about this before, before I kind of rewind on exactly what you were saying, because you and I had that same conversation. You have to be some form of selfish to be selfless, right? If you're not taking care of yourself and you're not taking care of your body, you can't give your 100% effort to others, because you're going to be tired, you're going to be weak, you're going to be, A, B, and C. So you have to make sure that you are allocating time for your personal development, for your personal growth, so that you can have that positive ripple on other people's lives and you can help other people, right? But going back to exactly what you said, I remember when Camila was first born, and you're like, dude, like, how do you do it, like, with having a kid and doing everything with the gym, like it's a lot, right? And I was like, you just do it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You just do it, right? And we had the conversation of like, well, aren't you tired to do this or that, or go get a workout in? I was like 100%. But it's one of those things where I just know I have to do it, and if I sit down or if I sit on the couch or whatever, I know it's a lot harder for me to get back up to re-motivate myself and go do it, versus just starting it and then getting it out of the way, right? So I completely agree with that. With that being said, though, obviously there's situations that things come up, and you will have a day where you physically can't work out because things happen. But the main thing is not letting that be an excuse for anytime something happens to avoid a workout. Or if something, like, you get a flat tire and you're like, oh, well, shit, now I can't go work out. It's like, fucking fix your flat tire and go to the gym. Or go to the gym later in the day. Yeah, you wanted to go work out at 3 o'clock. If it doesn't work out at 3, is there somewhere else in your schedule that you can work out? I guarantee there is. If we looked at your schedule, I guarantee there's at least 30 minutes that you can get a workout in, right? There's no lying. I mean, you could try to lie to yourself, but you, at the end of the day, know the reality. Like, you can tell yourself a lie and convince yourself, like you said, you're your own best salesperson, but at the same time, you're your own best motivator, right? So you can sell yourself on the fact that, you can't do this or you can't do that, just as well as you can sell yourself on the fact of, I'm good. I'm not tired, I'm good. Like, and you telling yourself that just as many times as you're trying to tell yourself you're tired, it'll have that same effect.
Right. And I think what I want to add, like kind of like aside from also like the working out aspect of it, because it just clicked in my head since you asked me like certain things that I've run into, you know, with the challengers or even in the gym this week, is a lot of them have found that it is tough to get all the meals in. And what I mean by that is people come to realize that the amount of food, like whole foods, that dense foods, like when you are eating enough, like sufficient amount of protein, carbs, and fats, it's a lot of food, right? And then so I ask them, and you guys all know out there, like I ask you when you come in, how's your nutrition plan? How are your meals going? Because and I ask for many purposes. One of them is so if there's anything that I can do to adjust and help you succeed on your daily meal plans. Succeed overall, but also just succeed in your daily meal plans, tell me. Because if you do not tell me, I cannot help you. And I know for a fact, when you weigh in a couple weeks and I ask you, how is it going? You're gonna look at me with a face and I already know. So when I finally get the kind of like the answers from them, they're telling me, oh, I skipped breakfast. Oh, I skipped dinner. That's also a big part of discipline. And most people are tending to think, okay, less food I'm gonna eat, less calories, I'm gonna lose weight. That's not necessarily the case. That's not it at all. Your body needs all the macronutrients that we're putting in your meal plans to get your metabolism going, for your body to function as it's supposed to burn your body fat, to maintain and build your lean muscle. We have it in your meal plan for a reason. I said that to every single person. If it's in your meal plan, I sound like you, bro. If it's in your meal plan, you eat it. And if you can't eat like breakfast, like eggs or, you know, cooking something, tell me.
Drink that shit.
Yeah. Devin told me, blend it with water and drink that shit.
No, yeah,
you know?
you don't necessarily have to drink it. It's one of those things where some things can be switched for other things, right? But at the same time, you being quiet and you not telling anyone and thinking like how you're saying, by just staying silent isn't gonna help you in your goal. And one of those things where, you know, you taking stuff out of your meal plan, the meal plan, like you said, it's designed for you. It's designed for your body to do the things that you are trying to do. And if you're just not doing the things in the meal plan because you don't fucking feel like it, well then you're not gonna get the results. And then you're gonna come back and you're gonna say, oh wow, like my meal plan's not working out for me, or this isn't working out for me. Well, if you haven't brought any problems to it, then it's like, I already know that you're probably just not following it because it's just math. Like, as weird as that sounds, there are some factors of fitness and nutrition. It's simple math, right? Actually, it's not simple math. It's, you know, a little more complex, but it's math, right? Your calories, basically, you know, how many calories you expend in a day versus how many calories you burn in a day. That math equation equals basically fat loss. You know, the surplus equals, you know, weight gain, so forth, right? You skipping, you know, a couple reps because you're tired also is basically your workload, and basically that translates into muscle growth or muscle toning or fat burning, all that kind of stuff, right?
Right. And as far as like the tying in the discipline aspect of the nutrition that we're just talking about right now, is the fact of, I ask, okay, so is it more of a preference thing that you guys don't want to eat the breakfast, or you're tired from the long day that you don't want to eat the dinner that you have on there? And it comes down to a few different things. It's a lack of preparation. You either didn't prep your meals for at least the first couple to a few days on Sunday, when I'm more than sure you had about an hour and a half on a Sunday to prepare your food for at least from Monday through Wednesday, right? So it could be one part of that you're not able to eat your breakfast or lunches because it's not prepared, which is actually really bad, because then I don't know about all your other meals. The other aspect of it is just more so internal, that you choose not to eat the food because you don't feel like it. That goes back to discipline, right? Same thing is like having a discipline not to eat the junk food or not to eat the ice cream or whatever the hell you want, what you're not supposed to eat. Same thing, you gotta have the discipline to tell yourself, even if I'm tired at the end of the day, or even if I wake up and I'm not that hungry, you know you're supposed to have those meals, and you know you're not gonna eat it anytime throughout the other day because you have other meals to eat. It is still down to discipline for you to consume the foods that you have to.
Right. I mean, it comes down to, like Geraldine said, again, thank you, Geraldine, for firing them off in the comments. Everyone else, you know, don't be shy. But being prepared, right? Being prepared, you know, making your meals ahead of time. also, we've talked about this in the past, but putting your workout clothes in your car, right? If you know going home, at least I know me personally, if I don't have my workout clothes with me and I have to go home to get my workout clothes and then come back either to strive or to go somewhere else and work out, like my chances are probably gonna lessen if me leaving the house again. But if you're already prepared, then preparation is key, right? And it limits the excuses that you give yourself. Then you can tell yourself, well, I already have my clothes in the car, or I already have my meals made. I don't need to look for something to eat right now, right? But the less prepared you are and the more things you try to do on the fly, it all of a sudden leaves a lot more room for error, a lot more room for you trying to validate the fact that, I can eat this, El Pollo Loco, it's chicken, because I didn't make my meals. Well, that's your fucking fault. Like, you didn't make your meals. You made a conscious decision to not make your meals ahead of time, or to not prep your meals and put them in your lunch box, right, and bring it to work. And if you don't have a lunch box and that's your issue, go buy one. Like, there's no shame in it, right? It's one of those things where everyone, if you're worried about you bringing your lunch when your coworkers are going out to eat every day, it's like, at the end of the day, who's gonna be laughing when they're still overweight and you're looking good? They're like, oh man, what are you doing? Or you're gonna start noticing people starting to try to mimic your actions because you're having a positive ripple effect on their lives, and they wanna start doing the things that you're doing because you're changing, right? So it all comes down to preparation and your dedication of basically your goals. How dedicated are you to your goals? Habits are just actions done over and over and over again, right? You build habits by preparing your day, your day ahead of time, and being like, okay, I'm gonna wake up at this time, or around this time, and go work out around this time, and so forth, to know that I'm gonna get my workout out, to know that I'm gonna eat my meal around 11 or 12. It doesn't have to be exactly on the dot, but 11 or 12. I already know I'm gonna do these things and have these things at these times, building the habits and building the consistency of that action, which is then turns into a habit over time, because the more you do it, it starts to not feel like a tedious task, and it starts to just become something that you do, right? This is my day. This is what I do, right? Now I don't have to focus on building that habit. It just is a habit, right? You create a habit after, they say 21 days. I don't know how true that is. Like, I feel like if you stick to something for a week straight, it's a lot easier than the second week than it was the first week, right? By 21 days, 3 weeks in, like, yeah, it's pretty much consistent. But once you have the mindset, right, that this is just who I am because I'm going towards this goal, or this is what I do because this is who I am, now it starts to shift this from being a tedious task or feeling like it's, work, and now it just becomes a thing that you do because you know what it's going to result in.
Right. And I think the consistency aspect of it, consistency and discipline literally go hand in hand. Like, they tie it to each other. And just, I think, kind of just to go back a little bit more and to dive into what we had mentioned last week, because it just tailors into it. The fact of, I think, at least like when we have like a certain goal is good, because then that's what is holding you accountable, because we have to try to work towards something, or else we're just aimlessly walking, right? Like, you don't walk towards the bathroom if you don't actually got to go to the bathroom. What the hell? That's just aimlessly walking. But when you do have like kind of like a blueprint or a plan that you're aiming towards something, now it's about putting the work in, getting to at least that current destination. But what tends to happen, like at least like mentally, that defeats most people, depending on your goal, is you're too concentrated on the end goal. You're too concentrated on the destination rather than your path to get there, right? And then like applying the discipline, putting in the consistency that builds your discipline over time is within each step of that path that you're going along. You know what I mean?
It goes into like, if you're back when you were in school and you wanted to leave early and you're watching the clock, so the bell rings at 3 and it's 2 o'clock now, if you're staring at the clock, it's gonna take forever to get to 3, right? But if you're just doing the things that you need to do and just working on the tasks that you need to do, 3 o'clock comes faster than if you were just staring at the clock, right? And again, with, G's comment saying, don't look at other people and what other people are doing. because it should just be you versus you, and that's 100% the thing, right? It's you're your only competition, right? You should try to be better than you were the day before and the day before that, right? And if you consistently do that, you're building up the habits and you're building up building up the habits consistently over time. And in a year, 2 years, you're going to be a completely different person, right? It's just one of those things where it's inevitable. Like we talked about last time, there's things that are debatable and then there's things that are black and white. It's black and white. If you do something long enough, it starts to change who you are, right? In terms of habits, in terms of consistency, and it does get easier with time, right? So the only thing is, if you focus on the time duration, like you're saying, then you're focusing on the time duration versus focusing on the tasks that you're actually supposed to be doing. If you focus on what you're doing, you can give it 100%. If you're focused on the time, you're not going to be giving what you're doing 100% because you're just focused on getting it done.
Yeah,
right.
It's not about how much time you have; it's what you do with the time.
Yeah.
And
would you do that from Fast and the Furious?
No, you and I used to talk about it all the time. But what's it called? So shout out to Geraldine again, because she keeps like firing out these either comments or just throwing in there. But Joanne actually just said too. She said, for example, trust the process. I do like that, because let's keep in mind, like with the consistency and discipline and habits, is anybody perfect? No. Are you gonna have 10 out of 10 perfect days of you putting in the work to get to the destination you're going to? No, you're not. You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna not be perfect. The main thing is that is okay. I repeat, that is okay. I think a lot of people that, kind of set a good stride, they have the right intent, their heart is in the right place, the destination weighs enough for them, and then they're starting to get into motion, and then something small slips up, whether it's missing a workout, or having a cheat meal or whatever, or just eating something,
or like
something like that, right? Or even can be as simple as like the whole thing where, I'm gonna start on Monday. When they finally start, they're getting going, and then they have a small one-day slip up or anything, and it's back in their head. It's back to square one, but it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Just because one slip up shouldn't mean that you gotta just fuck everything. I'm gonna just fuck it. I'm gonna go back to my old habits.
Right.
Right.
Or I'm gonna start back on Monday. It's like, dude, it's fucking Tuesday. That means you're gonna start next Monday. Like, just start today. Start tomorrow. Like, there's no reason for waiting an entire. Like, I don't know where this like misconception of you need to start things on a Monday came from. Like, start it today. Just start. Like, you messed up this morning. Fucking, you're back on track this afternoon. It fucking happened. It is what it is.
Right. It's trusting the process. To me, means that it's the whole process, and making mistakes is part of the process. So you have to trust that you making the conscious decision every day in your action, you have to trust it that is going to get you there. You have your blueprint. You just have to believe that even if you fuck up for that one time, it's okay. Make it up for the rest of the day or the next day. Like, I think we had a conversation a long time ago about this. It's like most people that are kind of have that, I don't want to say eating disorder, but they have like a bad relationship with food. It's early in the day. They'll have maybe like something that's not the best, or either not in their meal plan or not the best, ideally healthy food. You know what I mean? So that they're just fuck, I just had something bad. I had a donut in the morning, so I'm gonna eat like shit the whole rest of the day. How does that make sense? You are only like a few hundred calories, if that, off. Now you're gonna mentally shoot yourself in the foot and add 2,000 calories for the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Like, you just threw it all in the trash.
Yeah, you didn't just throw the day in the trash. Now you're making that up consecutively over the next few days to get back on track, right? It's one of those things where it's part of the process. Trust the process is like not every journey to your success is going to be a straight line, right? It's not just going straight up. Like, there's going to be ups and downs as you go up this process. And those downs are your learning curve so that your next up goes higher than the previous up, right? It's like peaks and valleys. So at the end of the day, your accumulation of all your ups and downs is going to end up being one super low, one super high, and it doesn't matter of all the shit that's in between it. It just matters that you fucking got up here, right? But people, and that's what people focus on. Like when you see someone that is successful or someone that's famous, you're seeing them up here. You're not seeing them down here. You're not seeing all the shit that they went in between doing to get who they are. You see the top of the iceberg, right? So it's one of those things where, I mean, even think of an iceberg, like that shit goes up and down too, right? You know, and you might not see all the stuff that led up to the top, but that's what builds the person. So next time you're faced with that obstacle, next time you're faced with that weekend getaway or whatever, because at the end of the day, yes, you still have to live. Yes, you still have to, you know, enjoy life. Like it's not just eat chicken, rice, and broccoli for the rest of your life. This is what fitness is about. It's, yes, you can have a cheat meal. Yes, you can still eat out and watch your calories. You can replace this for that. It's a better option, right? And then portion control. But all that stuff goes into the fact of you went on vacation, right? Like for the business trip, like I'm going to Palm Springs. Like you don't think that I'm not going to work out over there. Like just because we're on the business trip doesn't mean I'm not going to fucking not do anything.
You were running, bro.
I know, yeah. Well, that's besides the point.
You're running for a long way.
Fucking, those fools wanted to run fucking like 10 miles. It's crazy. But even that, so that's one day though. Like I'm still going to be gone for a couple days. Like there's still a gym like in the hotel and stuff like that. Like I'm still going to be working out. Like that's just what I do. Regardless of where I am, that's what I do, right? And if there wasn't a gym, then I would work out in either at the hotel or outside or whatever the case is. But it's one of those things where if you are focused on your mess up instead of fixing your mess up, then you're just letting yourself go down. Then your next time you're going down is going to go a lot farther, right? So it's not the fact of how many times you fall, right? And it's not, I'm not about to be like, you know, it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up. It's the thing you have to think about is like, okay, how many times have you fallen? And then how long did you stay down? Right? So it's like, how long am I gonna let this one let me stay down? I could turn it around, like, okay, I had the cheat meal or whatever, like I know I shouldn't have ate it, but it is what it is. Like my next meal, I'm gonna make up for it, or I'm gonna, you know, just keep on my meal plan the rest of the day. Or I didn't work out yesterday, I, you know, messed up, just let the day get away from me. I'm gonna start back on today. Like it's not like, okay, let's start back next Monday or, you know, start next week. It's like, no, well, shit. There's so much time in between then that you're now making that down go further and further and further.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, the build of our mentality has to be like a spring, like a quick bounce back. Like you fall, you fuck up, you get right the fuck back up. You know what I mean? Because then when you linger too much in the thoughts down there, you gonna stay down there for a minute, and before you know it, like you said, your slope. It's tough because like that's where a lot of like the health and fitness, like, you know, kind of aspect of it is like where most people get stuck is the fact that they're just down for so long that to get back up is such a struggle. So when you do find yourself catching a couple L's, couple like punches to the chin, like that's fine. You just get right back onto it. Don't let it ruin everything else that you've already made. You know what I mean? I think, I don't know if you were gonna do it, but like I was gonna go over like a couple of the comments that I saw already. Like Deco said, temptation comes to you when you're focused and on point on your journey, so don't give up.
Yeah, and that's true. Like that one, I mean, he hit the nail on the head with that one, and that was something that we talked about last Friday too. It's like, with the challenge starting and with these meal plans starting and everything, you're focused on not the meal plan, not how long the challenge is, but everything now all of a sudden that you can't have. You're focused on Oreos and fucking Ho-Hos, and you didn't even eat Oreos and Ho-Hos before, so what does it fucking matter now? Like, you didn't have fucking Doritos yesterday or last week or last month, so why do you need a fucking Dorito today, right? Like, all of a sudden, like, you have this urge and this craving for everything that you haven't had thus far, but now that the fact is, like, we say don't eat it, you're like, well, shit, now I want it.
That's crazy, like how like humans work. It's like the moment you tell them you can't.
Did you eat a donut, a Ho-Ho today?
No, I didn't. It's like the moment we hear something that you can't have it or you shouldn't do it, it's like, I want to do it. Like, it's just like, dude, like, calm down. It's gonna be fine. But no, that's I agree with that.
And I mean, like, we get it. Like, we completely understand the pain. We completely understand the ups and downs. Just being trainers and you know, from trainers to business owners to everything, like there's ups and downs in every aspect. We go through it too, right? And on a fitness aspect, like, yes, like we still, have to deal with going out to eat. Yes, we still have to deal with, we have significant others. Like, we still go through all the same stuff, right? So it's like, it's not like we only eat, lean chicken or chicken breast and rice and broccoli, and that's all we have with mustard and hot sauce. And
I mean, I could, but
right. But it's one of those things where, like, every now and then, you have some lumpia or something, like, it is what it is. But we still go through the same battles, and so we're not speaking to this at a place of, like, we don't understand. Like, we completely understand. Like, when you were doing your contest prep, like, all of a sudden you started texting me all this food, and I was like, bitch, do you eat this on a daily basis anyways?
Nah, bro.
And you're like, no, but, I just really want this. And I was like, why?
It was weird.
You're just going through that pregnancy cravings. And I was like, bro, relax. Like, but, like, so we get it. Like, we've done it. Like, we understand it. But it's one of those things where, how bad do you want it? Right? Trust the process. How bad do you want it? If you focus on the temptation, or you focus on the thing that you can't have, now your brain is wrapped around this one thing that you can't have. And now you're battling it when it doesn't need to be a battle, because you could just not think about it and just focus on the things that you need to do.
Right.
Right?
Monica, I want to make sure that, we address, like, everybody's even just reading your comments, because we obviously appreciate it. Monica said, consistency is key to commitment, and thriving to your goal, setbacks are opportunities to get back up. Fuck, I like that.
Yep.
And Cynthia said, shit happens. So just wipe that shit up. No, but what Monica said, the thriving to your goals, setbacks are opportunities to get back up. Even just that, the mentality of, it's all about opportunity. It's about your perspective at the end of the day. And this applies to health, fitness, literally everything. You know what I mean? Somebody asked me today, bro. Like, aren't you tired? Like, because, like, I don't know. Like, they just see my eyes, and I'm just like,
no, I'm Asian.
Is that a racist comment? No. There's someone like, dude, aren't you tired? Like, fucking here all like it's. And I looked at them. It's like, yeah, I can get up and think like, I'm tired, or legitimately, I'm being straight up honest, and Devin knows, because like, this dude, like, literally is like my conjoined twin, that when I wake up in the morning, yes, I'm physically here, but I don't get up and tell myself, I'm fucking tired, my body hurts. Does my body hurt? Fuck yeah, it does. But the first thing I tell myself when I wake up is, I have the opportunity to do what I gotta do. So I get the fuck up. So same thing that it takes consistent, repetitive, conscious decisions to do those things that builds the discipline. And you can relay that to you saying, to your workouts, to your nutrition, saying, I want to be a better me. I know what is good for me. So the point that the thing that I'm trying to attain, the place that I'm trying to get to, weighs enough to me and in my heart and in my head that no matter what it takes, I'm going to fucking get there. And along the way, in the process of it, my perspective of every struggle is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Not a sacrifice, not a pain or anything like that. You can feel it, because you're supposed to feel everything, right? We're supposed to feel all the struggles, all the pains that go through it. But it's the fact of making the conscious decision of seeing things as an opportunity, like Monica said, for an opportunity for growth. If a challenge presents itself to you, of a moment of weakness, and I'm gonna relate to like what everybody is kind of like must be going through, is like a moment of weakness, like you're tired, you don't want to go, or you want to cheat on your meal plan. It's like, just stop for a second and think, not with your emotion, but think with the sense of urgency of what is the right thing to do, and you know what the right answer is, so act on that immediately.
But also, like, think about that when you take that step back, right? You know what the right action is, but then there has to be something that ties why you're feeling that way. So, like, what is making you feel that way, right? So if you're all of a sudden that you have a craving, why? Is it because you thought of it, or you saw it and now you want it, and you want it more because you didn't have it? Or did you used to do something, and after you did that thing, you would reward yourself with, said treat, right? But I don't even remember the terminology right now, so I'm not even gonna try to like fake it. But there's a study done that in the brain, basically when you overcome those temptations and you overcome those, times that you want to basically just not do something, and you basically tell your bitch voice in your head that I'm gonna do it regardless, like I'm good, you actually build a little bit of that brain center. And so the more times you do that and you overcome that temptation without giving in and all those kind of things when they do happen, because it's gonna happen, but every time you do it, it starts to add a little win to that column. And over time, it gets a lot easier to say no, or nah, I don't really want it, or know why you are feeling that way. But there is an actual like psychological aspect to it. It's not just, oh, do it, this is what you need to do. Like, it's actually building a psychological and a mindset skill. The more times you stay dedicated and consistent to your goals, regardless of your cravings, regardless of your feelings, and it will start to basically stack on top of itself.
Like building a house, like
Yeah.
brick by brick by brick by brick.
Exactly.
And then now the Satan can't get through that shit.
Exactly. And then I want to go back into the opportunities thing, exactly what Monica and you were saying is you can look at it as a obstacle, or you can look at it as a hurdle, or you can look at it as something why you can't, get something done today. Or like you said, you can look at it as an opportunity. And if you're looking at things as an opportunity, it's an opportunity for you to not just get further towards your goal, but to become a better version of yourself, and to build that mental block and to build that brick of your wall or house, like you're saying, right? And so each time you do it and you're overcoming these opportunities, you're getting stronger, right? Kevin Gates, had a little interview, and basically he said he used to look at things negatively, and he would look at things and be like, man, why the fuck is this happening to me? Fuck, man, my whole day's going wrong. And now he's focusing on everything that is happening, and anything that presents itself, whether it's positive or negative in light when it comes to him, he sees it in a negative manner, right? Mm-hmm. So he switches his mindset, and I think it was a huge thing that he looked at it, and instead of being like, why the fuck is this happening to me? And now he's like, why the fuck not me? I was built for this shit.
We out here?
Yeah. So it's
we out here, boy.
Now it's an opportunity for me to grow. Let's get it. This is what I'm built for. I'm different, right? And when you start to look at it that way, it all of a sudden, every opportunity is let's execute on it.
You know what? Well, I'm smiling. I agree with that 100%. But why I'm smiling?
Because you love being with me.
Same to you. It's but the fact that you're telling me why not? Let's get it. It just made me think too right now. It's sometimes you need a person like that. And I think me and you are that for each other, because I can think of many times, it doesn't have to be fitness or related, but it's times when we're just going through certain opportunities where me and you're just why not us? Why not me and you? Fuck it, we built for this shit.
Yeah.
It's we swing it no matter what. And I think honestly, you can think of our people's discipline and kind of what we have going for each other. So if you have a support system too, you should definitely capitalize on that.
Yeah. So and each of those hurdles or each of those opportunities, like Denny said, it's a privilege, right? When you have things that are going wrong, or you have pressure on you, because pressure is a privilege. As weird as that sounds, pressure means that other people rely on you, and it necessarily doesn't mean financially or something like that. For example, with my daughter, she relies on me to not only, provide, or me and my wife provide for her, but also to show her how to be the best her, right? So it's a privilege to have that pressure, not only to do the task and build business, but also to do the other things and show her an example of what it is like, whether you feel like it or not, to just get the things done, right? It's a privilege. So I agree with you, Denny.
Damn, that's a good one. Pressure builds diamonds.
Yeah.
And I think just to capitalize on that is the fact of when we set goals or when we are trying to attain something, it is a room for growth, right? There needs to be a change. A change needs to happen for us to attain what we're trying to attain or get to where we're trying to get to, correct? So a change needs to happen. But if there's no pressure, there is no change. Because if there's no pressure or change, you stay the same. you're stagnant and you're just in that comfort zone and like you're just the fucking coal because there's not enough pressure to turn you into a fucking diamond. Because everybody's a coal that wants to be a fucking diamond, but every time they feel a little bit of pressure, they fucking crumble. Just saying.
Yeah.
Not to call anybody out, but just saying.
No, I agree. I mean, that's what I have the diamond on my arm right here. I mean, that's literally the saying is pressure builds diamonds. And it's true. Like, me personally, I know I do my best work when I have that pressure on me, right? Even during like COVID times and stuff, when everyone was getting to, you know, sit back and unfortunately as it was, you know, kick it at home and stuff. For me personally, like, I'm not good at not doing stuff. Like, I need to be doing something, right? I need that pressure to keep me going and keep that drive going. Like, launching the franchise, like, you already know, like, we talk about this shit all the time. Like, that shit's a lot of pressure, right? But at the same time, like, every day that I'm facing an obstacle or every day that I'm, you know, facing an opportunity to overcome something, like, I see the light that I'm trying to get to, right? Regardless of how far that light is. But each time an opportunity presents itself to learn a new skill or to figure out something that, you know, there was, you know, a type of a lead and stuff that we were talking about earlier, it's like I had to basically let them know that I have to go find out that information. I don't know. I've never been approached with that. But now it was something else that now I have that in the back of my head, another tool, right? Instead of, you know, facing everything as a negative, it's like, look, you're going to be fucking different in a year. You just do the shit that you need to do today. Like, the obstacles and opportunities today present a different tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And it's not the fact of the obstacle or opportunity presented itself, it's your action or inaction that presents your tomorrow. So your tomorrow, every tomorrow, there's two paths, right? And so every action or inaction that you take or don't take leads to what your tomorrow or what your next week is going to end up looking like. So you might as well just do the one that you know is going to align you with your goal.
No, yeah. And the fact, like, to me, with that, like, that hits me with just, like, I'm more of, like, I agree with it. I guess I'm just more so, it pushes me in the same kind of direction in just a different perspective or coming from a different avenue as to more of, like, a regret. I'm one of those people that I try to make the right choice or the best choice all the time. How you do one thing is how you do everything. But because the fact of, like, I don't like the feeling of having regret of just not doing the right thing, but it's like more so like missing those opportunities, like you said, bringing what tomorrow. But the thing is, like, what if tomorrow doesn't fucking come, bro? Like, what if it doesn't? Because to some people it doesn't. Now, what's the last thing not obviously you're not gonna remember shit because you did, but like other people, like, what is the last thing you did? What is the last effort you threw out there in the very last second? Because at the end of the day, when the time is gonna go on no matter what, you know, and time's gonna go on, but it's what you did when you had the opportunity to do that. Is it something that you can be proud of, that you left everything on the table? Or is it something like, damn, I wish I did this. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That shit don't cut it. You know what I mean? So
definitely. I mean, that's exactly the fact. Like, you don't regret the things that, you shouldn't regret the things that you did regardless of what it was, right? It was a learning lesson for you to better yourself, whatever the action was, right? But the things that you do regret are the opportunities or the things that you didn't do when you could have bettered yourself, or, you know, looking at, like, hindsight. Like, if you ask, you know, any billionaire that's on their deathbed, you know, what is their biggest regret, they're gonna tell you something that they wish they would have done, whether it was spend time with their family or, you know, focus on their fitness so they're not, you know, hospitalized at a young age or whatever the case is. It's all the things that you don't do that you know you should have done, that those are the things that end up being your regrets, right? That, like Deco says, like, the battle that we're facing within,
the battles we're facing are in the mind first.
Yeah.
We need to overcome negativity by daily habits and positive affirmations.
I mean, that's, again, hitting it right on the head. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, you're going to face situations, like we talked about last week. You know, there's events, there's responses, and there's outcomes. The events are going to happen in your day regardless, right? Whether the event is inchangeable by you. right? Whether it's a positive or a negative, whether it's a thought, whether it's something that physically happens, whatever the case is, the events happen. Your response to those events is 100% in your control. And if you think that it's not, then you're lying to yourself. Like you're taking the easy route. If you're shifting the blame of something on someone else, that's your response, which is again, in your control to that event. Instead of, being like, damn, yeah, I got into a car accident. If I would have left 5 minutes earlier, I probably wouldn't have done this. If I wasn't running late, I probably wouldn't have gotten in a car accident. If I missed my meal today, well, if my kids needed to go to school early today, so I didn't have time. It's like, no, you fucking could have done it last night, right? So all these things, once you start to take responsibility for the actions or inactions that you do, it starts to have a better outcome on you as a whole, in your mindset and your life and your relationships all around. And that ripple effect, again, will lead into your kids. Like Monica, is commenting in the comments, like, her and Josh, when they come in with their son, like, that's one of those things where, like, that's awesome to see.
Yep.
And for like the members that bring in their kids to work out with them that are consistently doing it, it's like, that's so cool to see. And it's one of those things where it's not just cool to see that, yes, someone else is working out. It's like that bond and that role model that you are for your kid is huge. They're going to remember that forever, right? Like them working out with you at Strive, or them working out with you at a gym if you're, not in Los Angeles area, come to Strive. But if you're not, if you're working out with your kids, even one of the guys in the mastermind, Dan, like, he literally posts pictures of his son that he's able to bring to the gym now. And his son is like super pumped up to go lift with him. And it's one of those things where, like, that's going to resonate with him so much and develop him. And now he just shaped his son's life, because now his son's going to continue lifting, whether it's with his dad or not. And all those positive role models are all, responses to basically your day. Yeah, you could have had a crazy busy day, but regardless of that, I'm going to go do this because I know what it's going to do for, my kids.
Right. And like that's very, very internal, like with the kids and stuff. Just keep in mind too, like that goes beyond your immediate family too. Like we've actually had this talk with like a number of, members, and I'm sure like other clients as well, that like they have made such tremendous progress that it was very noticeable to the fact of other people. Like, let's just be specific in the gym here at Strive, that like some members have gone through like major, like, weight loss or even just changes that the other members, they would just be working out, and the members would just also, the other members would kind of be in the same, kind of in here at the same time. And they're like, damn, dude, or like, damn, like you look so good, you lost so much weight, damn, you're getting like swole, you're getting cut. And it's like those people, like, what you did, those individuals know what it took for them to get to where they are currently. It took a lot, and like the amount of work it put in and all that. But it's like all that effort, you just pushed someone else, you gave a positive contribution to someone else just with a quick glance or even a small comment, like, this is like what I did, and yeah, it was tough, but it's like I was able to do it, and you can too. It's like you don't know what those people are also struggling with, and you just kind of gave them that little light, and it's not even somebody related to you.
Yep.
But somebody could be looking up to you, and the all the hard work that you put in, and that you could be actually affecting a lot of people like just around you externally, and so that's why I think too that's also important to, yes, you do it for yourself, and even more so like your immediate family, like your kids and stuff like that, but it can also be affecting other people in a positive way.
Yeah. I mean, and like one last tool I want to talk about is like Denny's in here said empty the tank, right?
He said empty the motherfucking tank, bro.
He said MF. He didn't. Denny, you lazy ass, he didn't even write out.
Come on, bro.
But that holds weight, right? It's not meaning that you have to be exhausted in everything that you're doing, but if you think of your tank as a daily tank, right? Did you give everything to the day? Did you do everything that you told yourself you were gonna do today, right? It doesn't necessarily regard into like energy levels, but mentally that starts to build your mindset and your truth of yourself. I told myself I was gonna get A, B, C, and D done today. Did I do those things? Did I give my full attention to my kids? Did I give my full attention to my work? Did I give my full attention? Like, I'm not working and daydreaming about, going to the beach, right? Did you give your full effort to everything that you did in that day? And if not, then why didn't you? Reflect on it. Because if you can reflect on it, then now tomorrow you can improve. But you have to have those daily reflections at the end of the day, like, did I really truly give everything I could today, or do everything I could today, or did I half-ass it, or did I give myself an excuse, or could I have actually worked out a little bit harder and actually focused on the workout instead of, thinking about what I was gonna go eat afterwards?
Yeah, that last one, bro, like, I think that's a major one. Repeat what you said. Sorry, you said the fact of like, did I go half-assed on my workout? I think the next one, next Friday, I think we should open with that. I'm gonna make a note or something that at least like for something for us to cover is like in whatever, in all aspects, like the fact of having a question in yourself if you gave everything you have in a workout.
Then no, you fucking didn't.
Yeah, if you gotta question that shit, and hell nah, bro.
Yeah, like there should be no question. It should be without a doubt. The matter of fact, you gave everything. If there is any slight hesitation in your answer that did I give everything today, you fucking did. It's simple as that. If you have to think about it that fucking hard, you fucking didn't, right? If you knew you're gonna get 5 things done today and the 5 things didn't get done, you know you didn't, right? If you were fucking chatting it away during your workout, you already know you didn't. Like the things start to stack up, and you could tell yourself you did. The only person you're lying to yourself is yourself, right? And if you're lying to yourself and you're not being truthful with yourself, how can you grow? How can you truly tell yourself that you're doing everything you can to get the goals that you say you want to get?
Yeah. One last like kind of tactical tip that I kind of want to give as far as like, kind of the workouts, actually everything in general, is the fact of starting to implement our sense of urgency. Because when I say our sense of urgency is like, don't forget like the time, the aspect of time. It's like 11-week challenge. That's a span of time. There's only 11 weeks. You're thinking about fucking, oh my God, I can't have this today. After the 11 weeks, the 11-week challenge is over. Technically, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can eat whatever you want, but you shouldn't. The whole point of the challenge is to build the foundation and discipline for you to have, that proper mindset and proper routine and in the eating habits and workout routine, right? That's the whole basis of it. But I'm saying that with everything that we do, you should move with a sense of urgency, like even just preparing your meals, like sense of urgency, because you don't have all the time in the world. You only have a little bit of time to prep your meals, so fucking prep them. You only have an hour. You only have 30 minutes some days to get your workouts in. You come to Strive. So fucking sense of urgency, time, 30 minutes, maximize that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like 24 hours in a day, like he said. And like Denny said, like Devin and Denny said, like did you empty your tank in that day? You only have 24 hours. It's like, did you create enough sense of urgency to yourself to not even just do your best, to complete all the tasks you said you were gonna do in every aspect, in your nutrition, in your health, your workout, in your work, you're sending your emails, whatever the hell you gotta do. It's like, did you do it? Did you create enough sense of urgency? Because if you didn't, like you said, the answer is no, the fuck you didn't.
Yeah, and I mean, like, just to like recap real quick on what you were saying, like with the 11-week challenge or with any challenge or with just life in general, you wanting something now and you not wanting, or you not having it, again, it gets easier with time. So, going back to the 11-week challenge, you want to eat these things now and during the challenge and whatever. After the fact, yeah, you probably could eat them, you can. But the whole purpose of it is building that skill and that tool in your mind, knowing that you don't want it, right? So if you do everything proper and you follow and you trust the process and you follow it, like, you shouldn't want those things afterwards, because you've seen the results it's given you not doing those things. It reinforces the fact that I actually don't want that. It's not going to make me feel good. Like, I can picture how it tastes right now, and it's like, I don't need to have it. Like, I already know what I'm gonna feel like. I'm gonna eat it, and then I'm gonna feel guilty for eating it. So do I really want to feel that guilt? And that's what you have to weigh. It's like, yeah, you have that craving, but do you want that guilt, that side of guilt that comes with it? Right? Because it always does.
Yep.
You know?
Satan's gonna come knocking on your door. It just matters how many bricks you stacked up together.
Yeah. But I know we've already kind of gone over that hour. So with that being said, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys do share the show. This episode will be live tomorrow on the podcast platform. So make sure you guys follow the Mindset Cafe podcast on your favorite podcast streaming, as well as the recap will be on YouTube. So make sure you guys share it with a friend. And like always, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys for actually engaging and commenting and throwing your feedback and questions and stuff. So we truly appreciate that.
Yeah, and then
let's do it again next Friday.
Exactly. Next Friday we'll run it back, and make sure you guys rate the show too. That's one of the things that we are kind of missing out on, and people like to get the information, but make sure you guys do leave a review or leave a 5-star on the platforms, because honestly that does help us out too. But besides that, we appreciate you guys. We love y'all, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.